Welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show, and welcome to our live viewing audience. Proud member of the Education Podcast Network, Voice Ed Radio Canada, wherever you're taking in your podcast. Welcome to the program. Jump in the show today, leave a comment, leave a question, and certainly leave a donation. We are talking today to Wesley Greer, from the Atlanta area, West Georgia. And Wesley is going to be doing something extraordinary. I don't want to get too much into it without him on the show yet, but he's turning 60 here May 17th. He looks like he's 40, but he's turning 60, and he is doing an extraordinary activity, looking to raise some money for a good cause, and we are going to promote that and highlight that today. First, a quick word from our sponsor.
I'd like to thank IXL for sponsoring today's podcast. Over 1 million teachers use IXL in their classroom every day. IXL is the most widely used online learning and teaching platform K through 12. It empowers schools with complete curriculum, thousands of instructional resources, robust reporting, assessment data, and more. It saves teachers a lot of valuable time with ready-made plans aligned to the standards and the textbooks. Built-in engagement tools like custom competitions make learning fun for students. And IXL's diagnostic is research proven to be a strong predictor of performance on standardized assessments. And the best part, everything I just mentioned is all integrated into one platform, so you can simplify your EdTech tools. Visit IXL.com to lead your students towards data-driven excellence today. The link is in the show notes. And again, appreciate IXL sponsoring today's podcast.
All right. Thank you for that. So the opening thoughts, the opening concept here is extraordinary. Wesley and I have one thing in common. It's certainly not running. It's calling Success Hotline. And a shout out to Dr. Rob Gilbert. But Doctor talks about that word extraordinary on the hotline, and it's extra, right? Doing more than expected. And what's that extraordinary thing in your life, right? What's that thing that you could do to make a splash? Wesley has been running his whole life. Well, here as he's turning 60, he's going to be doing something extraordinary. And I'm mesmerized by it. I'm thrilled for him. I'm happy to host him on here, but it's inspired me. I'm turning 50 this year, Wes, this August, right? And it's got me thinking, what can I do to be extraordinary? I want to be extraordinary on a daily basis. And Wes, looking at all the things in his life here, learning about him, getting ready for the show. He's an extraordinary man, but he is about to do an extraordinary event. So listeners, friends watching, think about that thing in your life that you want to be extraordinary about. And I certainly would go ahead and start it. Wes is going to talk about how he got this going with this activity, and we're going to learn more about it. Real quick, I want to give the Success Hotline number, 973-743-4690. If you're not a Success Hotline caller, I hope you will become one after the podcast here. But that's Dr. Rob Gilbert and Success Hotline, 973-743-4690. Well, Wes, I gave him a teaser. Let's hear from you. We're going to hear about Project 60 here. Welcome to the podcast from Georgia, Wesley Greer. Hi, Wesley.
Hello, how are you? Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on here, Wesley, and excited to hear about you and your journey. And let's start there, Wesley. I mentioned about being Success Hotline callers. How did you get caught up in becoming a Success Hotline caller?
I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I can't remember exactly how I got the number. And
okay.
I've been racking my brain about it. Someone must have told me, and I must have just called it one time, and I got hooked. So that was probably, 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been calling a good while.
Yeah, calling for a good while, and I put my kids through some car trips to the way to school and have that on, and whether they liked it or not, they had to listen to it. So,
yeah. So you, after this, Wesley, you getting bumped into the Hall of Fame now. This event is moving you into the Hall of Fame for sure. Well, Wesley, I gave them a preview. Before we get to Project 60, please introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about you and where you're coming from.
Yeah, sure. Wesley Greer, as you've already mentioned, and I work in technology sales. Have been in technology sales for about 7 or 8 years now. Work for a company called NetScout Systems out of Boston. We're a global company working with many organizations around the world. And I focus on state and local government sales in the Southeast, cybersecurity, networking, that type of thing. So really excited to be a part of that company. And I'm a father of 4. My wife, Elizabeth, and I live in Roswell, Georgia, and I've been married 27 years. And yeah, I'm a local runner. I've been running for quite a number of years, and really excited to be on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. And Dr. Gore, I heard about you on Success Hotline with this event, this extraordinary event. So I didn't want to steal your thunder about what's happening. So let's give it to you here. Tell us about Project 60 and how this came to be, what it is, and what you're hoping to do.
Sure. Well, my 60th birthday obviously is right around the corner. And several months ago, I started thinking a little bit about what I wanted to do, how I wanted to celebrate. And I just had run a trail marathon back in October. And I thought, what would be the likelihood of me running 60 miles? And I was like, I don't know if I want to put my whole body through that. It's going to be a lot to try to train for something like that. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, my whole life that I have been running, I've been running mostly for myself, my health, and competing way back in the day. But I thought, what would happen if I used that to help other people somehow? And then I started thinking about kids, and I had remembered this. I was in youth ministry for a number of years ago, and I had been to this camp in Middle Georgia called Camp Grace. So I thought, I wonder what it would cost to send a kid to camp, because this camp is focused on inner city kids at risk, that type of thing. So started by a guy named Dave Pridemore, and now it is just incredibly successful. He's raised lots and lots of money to get this camp going over the years. Well, I found an organization in my backyard right here in Roswell, like a few miles from my house, called Reborn Minds. Now, what I learned about this organization is that they focus on at-risk kids, families, and teens, and they have a program where they send kids to Camp Grace, but it's only $120 for an entire week of camp. Now, thinking about camps, they can be very expensive, especially really nice camps that have, high ropes courses and outdoor activities and staff and 3 meals a day. I mean, it can get up into the hundreds of dollars. But as I was looking at this, and I thought $120, and I did the math on it, what would be the possibility of maybe sending 60 kids to camp and raising some money and doing that through a 60-mile run? So that's how the process in my head got started. And I debated about it for a couple of weeks. My wife finally said, "Look, either do it or don't do it, but let's make a decision." And so I made a decision, and I called Art and Gilma Cantu. They are the leaders of Reborn Minds, and they are wonderful people. They were surprised to hear about it, and I met with them, and we talked through it and made the decision. Let's go for this. So that's how it got started, and then I had to go ahead and look at the training program. I had already been running some, but I had to really start ramping it up right after that.
And this was only a couple months ago. This was not like 57, 58 years old. This was a few months ago.
Yeah, it happened pretty fast, actually. I had been thinking about it since, maybe late January, early February. And like I said, I had been doing a good bit of running already, but nothing like this. So it's only been a few months. And then once we decided to do it, I decided to call it Project 60. 60 miles, 60 kids, 60 years. And it kind of took off and got a life of its own. And then I was listening to Success Hotline one evening, actually had my family in the car, and we were just listening to it. And he asked the question, what is something that you're going to do? And when are you going to start doing it? Like it was a goal kind of thing. And I said, well, I just went ahead and answered the question when he said that, because you can leave a message at the end of that beep. And I said, I'm going to run 60 miles. I'll send 60 kids to camp on my 60th birthday. And then he contacted me. I forgot how he got my number. then it started to really ramp up.
Oh, yeah.
I'd put it on Facebook already. But he wanted to promote it. Dr. Gilbert said that camp had changed his life when he was a young person. And so, that's when it really started to take off as far as Success Hotline goes. And I've had about 30 people that have given to this just from Success Hotline.
Yeah. He's got some community there.
Yeah.
Again, if you're not a caller, please get involved. I mean, it changed my life, has a great impact on Wesley and his family. 973-743-4690. And Wesley, thank you for sharing your story. And friends watching live, watching on recording, obviously I wanted Wes to share his story, but I really want people to take action. I put the link to donate in the show notes. It doesn't have to be $60. It could be $6, whatever you could give. But again, he's running 60 miles to send the kid to camps. I think it's great. Wes, I know you've raised a couple bucks so far. Are you allowed to share that number? We hope it increases here, but
yeah, I'd be glad to share. We've raised $8,700 so far, and I just can't say thank you enough. I've had a friend from high school give $20 because that's really, he called me up. He said, I really can't do any more than this. It meant so much to me. Had a friend that gave, $500. Have a friend, someone that I didn't know that gave $1,200. Have a relative that gave more than that. So it's all come together, and every single dollar counts, as you know. We're not sitting here with an expectation of someone to give a large amount. It's just whatever you can do. And it's an exciting opportunity to help a young person have their trajectory of their life changed in a positive way.
I love it. The birthday is May 17th. That's the big day.
Yeah.
And we'll start with the end in mind, and hopefully you're blowing out cake late in the night there. But I know you're starting early. Let's talk logistically. Before we get to physically, let's talk logistically. How are you going to do 60 miles in one day?
Yeah, well, logistically, it's going to be starting out at midnight. At 12:01, I'm going to leave. My wife has graciously volunteered to do the first 2 hours with me.
Wow.
As we kind of are coining the term graveyard shift here. And then from 2 to 6, a friend, Jason Stein, and a couple other people are going to join during that time period. And we have an Excel spreadsheet we built out because we have a number of people in our run group, our local run group, that want to assist. I have people from my church group that want to come run a few miles. So it's like this community effort, and so it starts after midnight. And the place we're going to do a lot of the running is a flat area down by the Chattahoochee River. And so I'll be doing a lot of running down there, probably 10 to 11, 12 hours in that area alone, back and forth. And so there'll be an aid station that my wife's going to graciously set up for the event. It'll have, food and the drinks that I need. I'll have stuff with me as well that I carry, but I'm probably going to have to change, shoes and change clothes during the run for sure. So those kind of things logistically will already be in place. The nutrition is being well thought out. I've consulted with a couple of ultra marathoners already and gotten some really good ideas from those people. So it's been pretty well planned to this point. And now we just have to put everything in place and just hope we have good weather. If we don't, we're doing it anyway. Doesn't matter. We're going to get it done.
It won't be cold. We'll know that down there.
Yeah.
It won't be cold. Yeah. Wow. How did you draw out the course? Like you mentioned, going back and forth. Like how'd you draw that out? Did you drive in your car? How'd you?
Well, this course that I'm running, I've run many times as far as, over different distances. And so part of the course is a course that our Thursday night run group called OTP Endurance Sports. We meet every Thursday night at 6:30 at a brewery in downtown Roswell. We run up to this park and back. And so I'm going to do 10 to 12 miles in the park, coming back to that area. Going down to the river is 3 or 4 miles, but then at the river itself, it's about a 13-mile stretch that myself and many of our friends have run many times. And so just mapping that out, we know how many miles each segment is. And so we're going to just take it one step at a time. I hope to be in about 30 to 35 miles by 9 o'clock in the morning. And so then I can just finish the rest of the time, focus on getting the rest of those miles in, probably with a body that's pretty fatigued. But that's how we designed the course. And so then at the end of that, we'll be working our way back up the hill, back into Roswell, and finish at the very place that we started.
Nice. And you mentioned about the tent, the supplies. Like, are you gonna take a rest, like in the middle of the day? You gonna take a little nap, or you gonna just keep going?
I don't really plan to take a nap, but I probably will be stopping to rest here and there. It all depends how the body reacts. I have a pretty good training program I'm on, so I'll be doing a little bit of walking each mile just to kind of keep the body movement. Not just doing one particular movement the entire time for 15 hours. So some variation there, but it's pretty well thought out. And then I definitely will have some bathroom stops. Let's be practical. The good news is the bathrooms in the city parks in Roswell are open 24/7, so I won't have any issues there.
Yeah.
And then, we'll be having probably some rest periods where I stop and refuel. I'll be eating some things, like I said, maybe changing clothes. And those stops, whether it's 2 or 3 minutes or whether it's 5 or 10 minutes, are really crucial, and they really help to rejuvenate your body a little bit and kind of get you back into the mindset. So I can't predict fully what it's going to be like, but I don't plan on really stopping for a long time unless I absolutely have to.
Okay. Let's put together 100%, Wes. You're a runner, so you I can tell you're thin. You're a runner. Let's put 100% of the event together. Physical, mental, diet, camaraderie, companionship. I know you have some people coming. What are the percentages that make up these things? Is it 95% the physical running? You kind of give me some percentages of what you think.
Oh, that's a good question.
Would make up this event.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say when it comes to physical, that's about 75 to 80%, 75 to me, about 75, 80% of it. But in that, you have about half is going to be your training and about half is going to be your nutrition. If you don't, you can train as well as anybody out there, but if you don't have the right nutrition along the way, building in the electrolytes, building in the the calories that your body needs, you're gonna hit a wall. And I've just learned over making mistakes myself that if you don't do that, it doesn't matter how good you train, you're not going to necessarily finish. So nutrition is huge, but again, you can't go out and just have great nutrition without good training. So the training is a big part of the physical part of this. And so to give you an example, on the longest run that I had was 31 miles. And then the next day I did 10. And then 2 days later, I did 12. So the training program I'm on, it's designed to help you avoid injury. Not just go out and do 30 and then do 40 and then do 50 and 50. Some people may be able to do that, but the one I've kind of landed on is a program that builds back-to-back days, gets the body stronger over time, and then tapers off the last couple of weeks. So that's the physical part. The mental part is also very big. I would say the mental part's the other 25, 30% of this, but that's going to be a part of like me and also the community of people. And that may go up to 50% or 75% by the end of this run, because quite frankly, I haven't done this before. So I think that when I get involved in it and get into the second part of this event is going to be the challenging part, the really tough part. And I know from seeing other people do things and watching other people, talking to other people, heck, my wife's done a couple of Ironman triathlons as well as some friends of mine. That mental part and having the community to cheer you on and be there with you is going to be really huge.
Yeah. We did a 5K here on Sunday. I was thinking of you, 5K, but the community was out and cheering at you, and you had happen for you. It does help you. So I certainly felt that, but nowhere near
so much. I mean, and even during my, I've had people help me in my long runs and running throughout the, helping me in some of my training. I don't mind running by myself at all. So I did a lot of that, but have had plenty of friends who have helped me run along the way. My daughter, my son-in-law, my wife, friends. So it's been really, really great to have that that part of the community build up over this past few months.
Yeah. Friends, this is Wes Greer. Run, Wes, run. Jump in the comments, say hello. The link to donate is in the chat. Again, you can give what you can give. $60 for 60 miles is quite impressive, and happy to have you on here today, Wes, and I'm wishing you the best. I'm a sneaker guy. I played basketball. I always liked my Nikes, and now I'm a New Balance guy. What are you wearing on your feet? What kind of shoes?
Okay, well, I've kind of gravitated towards Brooks.
Okay.
I wear Brooks shoes. They have a brand, a type of shoe called Adrenaline, which I run a lot of miles in. They're not the softest shoe in the world, but they help me because they have some stability, and I like those for the road for the most part. I do have a trail shoe that I run in, Hoka Challenger. I like those for the trail. So I'll be changing my shoes in and out because on this course, I can run a lot of grass. I can run a lot of little dirt areas along the paths. And so I'll be trading out my shoes probably 2 or 3 times. And that's just me. It kind of gives you a little mental boost when you change your shoes.
Change your socks too?
Oh yeah. Change socks, change shoes. Yep.
Yeah. Now that's interesting. You would not only changing your shoes, but you change brand. You're not brand. It's all Brooks all the time. You switch the brands up.
Yeah, a little bit, just because like part of this course has got a little bit more trail than others, and so I don't mind using a trail shoe on that. And the trail's got a little more cushion, a little bit more ability to give you some different variation in how your feet feel, and so that's just going to be helpful. I've been practicing. I'm not going to do anything on the day of the run that I haven't already done in training. So I don't want any surprises. I'm not trying something new on the run day, if that makes sense.
I gotta say, Wes, I'm blown away by this, and you said it a couple of times here on the show. I've never done this before, right? How many times you're 60 years old, you could say I've never done that, right? And here you are, a runner doing something you've never done. I think it's incredible there. What are you most looking forward to about this? And then the second follow-up question is, what are you least looking forward to there? So let's start with the positive. What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, I think what I'm most looking forward to is I thought a couple of things. One is seeing how the body reacts to training. Over the years, I've seen if you're on a good training program, you should have a pretty good race or run day, and you just can't substitute that. So I've never done it, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this particular program has prepared me, and I'll know the day of, right? But I'm also looking forward to the community aspect of it, to have a lot of friends, a lot of people from church, a lot of people from our run group that's been around for 8 years, to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to that experience. It's meant a lot to me to have so many people support and donate and encourage. And so, and the other thing I'm looking forward to is, and I guess it goes back to community too, but is doing it for something else. I've never done a run for something besides just me. So that I think is going to keep me going, and it's going to keep me motivated when the times, are going to be pretty tough at some point, right?
Yeah. Something greater than yourself. That's awesome. How about the thing you're not looking forward to, or at least?
I'm not really looking forward to the way your body feels when it gets really, really fatigued and you mentally think maybe you can't go any further. I won't say I'm really not looking forward to that. That's also kind of part of it and a challenge. But it's the next day. The next day is tough, and then the day after is tough because sometimes 2 days later that is harder than 1 day later. So you have all this adrenaline, all these electrolytes, all this stuff you put in your body to keep you going. And that's just still there, right? Still there for 24 hours after you run. And then all of a sudden it all kind of just goes away, and your body goes, okay, now we're going to teach you a lesson, and it starts to hurt. So we'll teach you to
I'm going to get you back now.
Exactly. So
you have to work Monday?
You know what? I haven't really thought much about it, but I think I probably should take at least half the day off,
Yeah. Get that body back in gear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends, again, Wesley Greer, 60 miles on his 60th birthday. There's a fundraiser. The link is in the show notes. Really excited about this. Wesley, you've been a lifelong runner. Again, a shout out to your parents, Larry, and pronounce it for me, Wes.
Ella Voice.
Ella Voice Greer. Your father's turning 90 this year, and your mom's 87. Both very active. But your dad was a cross-country runner in the 50s, and obviously got you into running here. But you ran Division I at University of Georgia, the Bulldogs. I mean, that's impressive. Talk to me about your lifetime of running and how you fell in love with it.
Yeah, well, running for me started out when I was in high school, and I'll go ahead and mention this now. We had a teacher move in to our high school area in rural North Georgia, and we didn't have a track team, we didn't have a cross country team. No one really knew what running was except for football, baseball, basketball, right? Very small town back in the 80s, and so this teacher started the track team, and he recruited some of the football players to run track. And Bruce Hicks had a huge impact on me because he started this team. He really was my first kind of taste of running. He had run in college, so that's how it got started. And then as I got better in high school, I had to recruit people to run with me to have a team. Because you have to have 5 people on a cross country team. We didn't even have that many people that wanted to run. So I had to recruit my friends to come run with me so we could actually enter a meet. And then my dad met an individual named Red Smith, who has passed, but Red Smith was a founder of Northside Red Runners in Atlanta. And I would drive from Dawsonville up in North Georgia to the Atlanta area just to be able to run with this group that was really serious about it. And so I started doing that in high school. And I remember the first time I went there, he said, well, you can join the team. We'll see you on Thursday. And I said, well, I have football practice on Thursday. He said, well, Wesley, you need to decide what you want to be. If you want to be a runner, then I'll coach you. If you want to be a football player, then don't come back. So that's the kind of person he was. And so I decided right then and there, I'm going to go quit football and I'm going to start running more. So
So you went there on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I wasn't going to miss that opportunity. So listen, I was, 135 pounds soaking wet. I don't think the football team was really going to benefit from me being on the field that much. And it didn't hurt quite as bad. Right. So, so that's how I fell in love with running. And it is something that, just developed over time. And I ended up winning 3 state championships my senior year in high school. And just learned a lot about just setting goals and training and listening to coaching and that kind of thing during that time. It really taught me a lot.
Yeah. And you went on to college. You started out not at University of Georgia. You started out at
West Georgia. So I went to West Georgia in Carrollton my first year. And, I was excited about going to run in college and got a little bit of scholarship money, not a lot, but a little bit. And, the first year I was there, when I arrived, the coach had recently quit the school. So I didn't have a coach when I first got there.
Oh my God.
And it really frustrated me. So shortly after that, I decided I was going to transfer out of the school. I wanted to go find a better program. And so I transferred over to University of Georgia. I walked on as a walk-on. I quickly learned that I was what do they say? A small fish in a big pond rather than a big fish in a small pond, because Division I is just a whole different game.
Yeah.
And, but I made the team and really started to improve my running and doing well. But I ended up only running 1 year there. Yeah. I was that fall, I ended up just going through some different things. I had a car wreck and started questioning life and, had some questions about my personal faith. And, a friend of mine shared with me about Jesus Christ. And so I decided to surrender my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And that really set me on a different trajectory. It really changed my life. And I guess I'll explain that by saying that and I think this happens to a lot of people, whether they're in work or sports, it becomes your identity. It becomes the only thing that you can say, oh, this is my purpose. And for me, that was running. And while it was a good thing, it also, if I got injured, I mean, I was down and out. If I didn't do well in a race, is all that mattered. And so, what I've discovered is that the desire to compete at that level wasn't really there anymore after that. And so I decided, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. So I went into the coach's office at UGA, and I decided to just quit the team at that point. And I really haven't had any regrets about that.
Wow.
Because I've obviously picked it back up later and love running still. But it means something different to me now than it did then, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're taking on this extraordinary event, as we've said a few times here, serving others. Well, it all worked out for you, Wesley. Again, you're the senior account manager, Southeast Technology, 4 children here, your parents, your family, just, again, getting to know you. There's a warmth there. There's a love and certainly service to others, youth ministry. It's pretty cool. I did love what you wrote, that your wife is your hero. Here she is starting the race with you, and really pretty cool there. So it's exciting, man.
Yeah. Well, she's, the mother of our 4 kids, and just had a lot of sacrifices in her life for the family, and, just wife of 27 years. And not only that, she sets a goal and she goes after it. One time she turned to me in the living room and she said, "I want to run the Boston Marathon." And I'm like, "What?" And then another time she turned to me and she said, "I'm going to do an Ironman triathlon." And I'm like,
Wow.
"What?" But she went and did both of those things. And she really, she kind of got the phrase that I use now is plan, train, visualize, win. And that, she wrote that down for me one time, and I've always kept it. I still have the piece of paper right here: plan, train, visualize, win. So I use that. And then, of course, she just loves the community, loves people. And I really just have a lot of respect for her.
Beautiful. Really beautiful. Wes, what advice would you give to us rookie runners, right? My sister, my brother, they're marathon runners. They've done the marathon. Shout out to my dad, the New York City Marathon. But I am not. And that 5K, I was. But what running advice would you give to somebody who wants to be in shape, who wants to run? What would you say to that person?
It's funny. Recently, I had my niece asked me that, real straight, put it out there on social media. How do you enjoy running? And what I put is, don't expect to enjoy running if you don't want to run more than 3 days a week, because you're not going to get in shape and you're always going to hate it. And the reason most people don't like running is that they never get themselves a chance to get in shape, or they don't have a goal and they don't really get in shape for it. They'll run once a week or twice a week and they just never get there. What I've discovered is that new runners, if they run 3 days a week at least, and then have a goal, but run 3 days a week, 4 is even better, but 3 days is going to get you there. And then over 2 to 3 months, you're not going to love it for a couple of months. You're going to hate it. But after about 3 months, you're going to find yourself getting in better shape, and you're going to see that progress. And all of a sudden, one day you're going to kind of wake up and feel better running 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, whatever that is. And I think a lot of runners, beginners, get discouraged early. And the other thing that they can do is they can join a community run group, because there's a lot of those out there. We have one, as I mentioned, 8 years, different people from all facets of life, from wanting to do a 5K to wanting to do an ultra, and everything in between. We have some walkers, some runners, some bikers, so the point is just getting that community and that accountability there, and that encouragement is another piece of that as well.
Awesome. Good advice there, and getting in that shape. Wes, what about the knees, man? They talk about the running on the hard pavement, and how do you protect yourself from getting injured?
So for me, I look back on that a little bit. Some of it has to be a little bit of genes, I think, but good running shoes, you just can't. If you're going to skimp on something, don't skimp on good running shoes. And so that's real important. You can go to a local running store. Like, we have one here called Big Peach. You can go there. They'll look at your run. They'll give you some recommendations, and you just do trial and error. You find some good shoes. Listen to your body. If your body starts to break down a little bit, give it a day of rest, But yeah, that's kind of what my my advice is make sure you have the right shoes, and that's going to mean a lot of difference to your, to your whole body, not just your knees.
Yeah. Well, you're 12 days out. You're running 60 miles on your 60th birthday, raising money again for Camp Grace through Reborn Minds. The link is in the chat, friends. Please donate. So where are you at? Do you have one more big run?
No, I did on Saturday. I did 16, kind of a last long run, and then I did 6 yesterday with my wife again, and then I'll do probably 8 or 10. I'll run 2 or 3 days this week. I'll do 8 or 10 next Saturday. Then I'll really begin to just taper off almost to nothing before the next Saturday, which is the 60.
Yeah. So on the 16th, are you eating dinner at 6, 7? When are you eating last before you're starting to run at 12:01?
Yeah, the last meal, huh? Well, I'll probably eat a piece of grilled chicken and a sweet potato. Something very just kind of hearty and not a lot of spices, not a lot of anything that's going to upset my system. And then I'll just go from there, and I'll maybe try to get a little bit of sleep. Probably won't sleep very much. Yeah. And I'll just hit the ground running at 12:01.
Wow. Is Gilbert going to connect with you? Are you going to call into the hotline during the thing here?
What? Yeah, I talked to him the other day. He said that he would like for me to call him a few times and check in. He wants to kind of highlight the run on his message. I'm not sure how he's going to do that, but absolutely, I'll remember to touch base with him. He's been very, instrumental and such a blessing to be able to promote me on his site. I was very honored when he did that. So yeah, absolutely. I'm going to check in with him and kind of keep the progress going there for the Success Hotline callers.
Yeah, the hotline community, certainly fans of Wesley Greer. And again, friends, the link is in the show note. Please jump in there and leave a donation. Wes, anything else you want to say that I didn't ask you about?
I don't think so. I mean, I just appreciate my family. I've got my 4 kids, Jacob, Matthew, Anna, and Catherine. They're just wonderful inspirations to me. They're all, coming into their own in their vocations, and it's so exciting to watch. I'm very thankful for my community of, runners. I'm very thankful for my community of my church. We have a church small group that's been together for about 15 years. 5 couples just watching each other kind of grow, go through things. So, I mean, I don't know. I just really am thankful for that. Just what I'm learning through this. And I think the real people that are to be the heroes, if you will, are the people that are giving, and these people that are on the front lines with these kids. I mean, they're doing the day-to-day in and out after school programs, camps. They're the ones that are really, I want to highlight.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you got kids going. He raised 8,700 so far. That's a lot of kids that'll be going to Camp Grace this summer, Central Georgia. So we're excited about that. But the clock is ticking on the race here, Wesley. So we got to get to rapid fire here.
Okay.
So let's get to these. These are quick answers. This is not a 60-mile run. This is a 5-second sprint. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Last movie you saw?
I believe the last movie I saw in a theater was Mission Impossible.
Okay. Someone recommended The Life List, so I'll throw that out to you on Netflix. The Life List.
All right. Thank you.
Very good. Your kids, your family, you'll like it. Last concert you went to?
Pearl Jam, just last week. My wife took me down to Pearl Jam, and Jason and Tara Stein, we went down there with them, and that was a phenomenal concert.
Yeah, powerful music. Will you listen to music on the race?
No, I don't really typically listen to music on races. I just like to just kind of be out there, with just whatever the noise is, but I'm fine with that.
Atlanta, you go to concerts in Atlanta when you go?
Typically, I don't go to a lot of concerts, quite frankly, but I do like them. I just haven't been to a bunch recently, but yeah, that was the most recent one.
Is Pearl Jam playing like in the football stadium, or is that where like the Hawks play? Where
they played at the State Farm Arena where the Hawks play, and then it just so happened the same night Kendrick Lamar played in Mercedes-Benz, so it took us like 2 hours to get home. But it was insane.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a busy night. Well, you're in the car. What was the last song you sang out loud in the car?
Oh my goodness. Probably something by Rich Mullins. He's a musician I really love to listen to, and so yeah,
It's warm there in Georgia. You got the windows open, so people are hearing you singing.
that's right.
Your favorite place to travel?
I'd say the favorite place, probably Hilton Head Island with the family going to the beach. We've been there a number of times over the years, with extended family too, and it's been just a great place to go and relax.
Beautiful area there. Savannah's not far. Tybee
Right.
Island, great spots. The ATL is fill in the blank.
The ATL is busy. It's a busy city. Always traffic, always stuff going on. It's just very busy. I don't live down there, so that's why.
Yeah, big sports town. The Olympics. I mean, after the Olympics, yeah, really took off there. You're outside your Bulldogs. We know you're a Georgia Bulldog. We know you love them. Outside the Georgia Bulldogs, who you follow another Georgia team?
I would say the soccer team here. They have the Atlanta Atlanta United. Sorry, is a football club here. We go regularly to the games. We have season tickets. It's a fun, easy event to get to and to go to, and have a good social time there. So we like to follow the soccer team.
Yeah. Are they in the Mercedes Arena, or they got their own soccer arena?
Nope, Mercedes-Benz Stadium every game.
Yeah, the MLS games they're underrated, man. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's grown in popularity so much too.
You're doing a big thing in 2025 here, so you could throw this answer in. But in 2025, I will fill in the blank.
In 2025, I want to try to stop complaining as much. I've complained about little things here and there, and so it's hard to do. But I'm going to try to not complain as much. How about that?
We'll take that. You're doing pretty good here. I like the 60 miles there. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
If I had a superpower, I'd have a way to, I guess, if I could help alleviate some of the pain and suffering going on with kids in different ways, shape, or form, I'd have the ability to do that. I know it sounds a little bit altruistic, but popped in my head.
You're doing that, sending those kids to camp, that's for sure. What's a pet peeve of yours?
Pet peeve. I'd say my biggest pet peeve is people that are on the cell phone loudly, like a speakerphone in public. I just can't take it. It's a killer. And I'll be out on a trail run and somebody will be doing it. And I'm or you're in Starbucks and they're having their Zoom meeting out loud. It's like,
out loud.
So that's mine.
I'm with you. That is exactly mine. I actually invested in the AirPods to block them out. Because so many people do it. Yeah. Wow. At 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, I will fill in the blank.
But in particular, this Saturday morning, I'm going to be volunteering at a road race. My wife Elizabeth is helping to lead direct a road race, and so I'm going to be volunteering at a water station.
Very nice. Something about Wesley Greer that people do not know about.
I mean, I have done some acting in the past and been in some little skits and plays and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind trying that at some point in the future again. I don't know what that would look like. Community theater, I don't know. But that's something I've enjoyed in the past that I haven't done in a long time.
Well, you're acting like a 60-year-old because you're really 40. I mean, look how good you look. So you're doing pretty good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Friends, this is Wesley Greer. He's running 60 miles on his 60th birthday, raising money for Camp Grace through Reborn Minds. The link is in the show notes, so please click there for a donation. Wesley, I love quotes. Dr. Gilbert has given us so many. What's a quote you'd like to share to end the show?
I think, he gave us a quote over Easter that I really liked, and I've heard it before, but it's because of this, something good will happen. Because it's a kind of quote that, because tough things happen, tragedies happen, people get injured, or you lose a job, whatever. But if you can look back on your life, you can see how that thing may have directed you, and now you can help other people, or you learn something from it, whatever. But I think because of this, something good will happen is something that I think can resonate with me and a lot of people.
Friends, Wes Greer, north of Atlanta, Georgia, again, doing an extraordinary event. Wes, it's an honor to have you on. I wish you the best with this event, and we will be rooting for you. We will be following you. So good luck, okay?
Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate the opportunity to be on your show.
Cool. We'll stay on the line a second so we can say goodbye. Again, friend, last announcement here. The link is in the show notes. Donations are there. And then if you want to mail it also, Wes, you want to give that address again? I did not put that in. You want to
I'll tell you what, if people want to email me at runwesleyrun@gmail.com, I'll send them the information. runwesleyrun@gmail.com. And I've been doing that with a number of people, and it's worked out pretty well. So hope that's clear enough.
All right. Keep running, Wesley, and keep surviving and thriving. Thanks for tuning in, friends.